About that, we're gonna take a nomination.
By chance, do you know the Wi-Fi password?
I do not.
Worth a shot.
That was a big.
He's that new.
I'm so
We will-
new that
I
they
will
did not
get
give me the
that.
Wi-Fi
I mean,
password.
you've got a name tag. You're more
Yes.
official.
It took me a week to get this. I was visitor one for a while. So.
3 months
Right.
on average if you work for Camp Robinson. before you
Understood,
get-
yeah.
So. And all right, guys, so we're right at 4:30 and we're live, so we're gonna go ahead and call our meeting to order, and then we'll do some official, we'll kind of introduce ourselves to you, Chris, and vice versa. So call us to order. We are the tree board. You made it to the right spot, sir, at least, so that's a good way to start. And let me pass to you, I have an agenda.
I have an agenda form right there.
Thank you. Send us your way.
You have another one of the
Sure do.
benefit
Oh,
deals.
yes, I think, never mind. Was that the-
You should be able to use the
Yes.
guest.
Here's that.
What is the password for said guest Wi-Fi?
The password for the guest Wi-Fi is capital G on guest 2017.
Oh, I've got two. Could have told you that. I didn't know it was the same. for
That's
everyone. That's what it is at the parks, but I didn't know that was the same everywhere
I
else.
guess this one is.
I have people watching, feeding me information.
Greatly appreciate
That's
that.
right.
And we're live. Thank you very much. Excellent, excellent. And we've got Josh will be coming too, so I'll save that for him. All right. Well, Chris, I'm Tracy. I'm the chair of the tree board. Nice to have you. And we're glad to have you aboard. You started, how long have you been with us?
This is my fourth week.
Okay.
They blend together after
Yeah,
the second week. So.
yeah. We're glad to have you. And you want to go around and just kind of introduce yourselves? We'll start, Skylar, you want to start?
My name is Skylar. I'm now the secretary for the tree board, and I work for the Conway Parks and Recs Department, so I'm the city representative on the. Perfect.
Hey, I'm Shani. I'm just on the committee. Hi, I'm Amy White. I'm also simply on the committee or on the board.
Oh, sorry, I did the wrong thing, my apologies.
I'm Sam Little, grad student over at UCA studying trees and am a board member.
I'm Josh Draper, I'm the small business owner member.
Yeah.
As my second year on the board, and I'm the vice chair, ooh boy.
Logan Pryor, I'm the Conway Corporation representative.
I'm Scott Meek, I'm resident and I guess forestry member.
The expert?
I wouldn't call myself an expert, I'm a forester.
Gotcha.
Which is
The
slightly
opposite.
different than
The
urban
opposite.
forestry, but
Yeah.
he knows a lot about trees, so
Right.
it's beneficial. And I'm Krista Quinn. I'm the Faulkner County Extension Agent for Horticulture.
Yeah.
I'm a certified arborist, and I am not I'm not a voting member of the board. I'm an advisor to the board.
Well, myself, my name's Chris Paxton. I was part of the community development department for the city of Rogers for 3.5 years. Prior to that, I worked for the city of Springdale for 4.5 years, and the city of Van Buren before that. I worked on the planning commission for the city of Fayetteville. I just moved down to Conway to accept the position of director. Glad to be here, and have a great staff, none of whom which joined me here tonight. So,
You do have a great staff. Yeah.
we are looking for, just a quick note on that, we are looking forward to interviewing for a new long-range planner soon, so we will be increasing our staff.
Good, good. We're glad to have you. Thanks for making time for us so early on. So we do have several new most of our boards and commissions have a lot of new membership, but there were only 3 of us who moved forward with the board this year. So lots of newness. And really just starting our year. Normally, Chris, you'll see us do some tree plantings on the front end and the back end of the year, and then just try to support the city and the chamber with any projects they have. And then during the summer months when it's really hot, we just try to find ways to get out and communicate with the community, whether it's doing yoga under the trees or doing some kind of educational something. So a little bit of just what we do and have done.
Appreciating our trees.
We appreciate our trees. We're out underneath the trees, shade, lots of reprieve from the heat. So, so we just try to keep that message throughout the year. But our actual work is typically in the early spring and, early winter, early spring, whatever, when we plant trees. So, All right, so last month, you guys, I did email the minutes to you for February, so if we can get a motion to accept those minutes, or if we have any questions about that meeting.
A motion to accept.
A second.
Excellent, thank you very much. All right, in our last meeting, Chris, we mostly just handled our elections and assignment to committees and things like that, is what we did in February. So, excuse me, just to get us caught up on our financial reporting. Oh, and to back up for just a second, for February minutes, we know we did have Logan and Skylar who weren't officially approved by City Council. That did happen on February 14th, so you guys can actually move forward and vote and do all official actions now with us. We did also, they appropriated our funds in February also. So we do have 5250 approved in our account. You'll see the numbers are a little bit different than what I carried forward from February. There was about $25 that we still owed for the department, the RDOT, the beautification project. We still owed like $25 more. So I saw that came out. So a little bit different on that. From the numbers that I sent you guys previously. So really just wanted to talk about, so last month we did, go through our elections. So all of our committees, and I'm going to pause, we have 3 committees right now as it stands according to our bylaws. We have a community action committee, we have our sustainable works committee, and our canopy management committee. So my commitment in February was to at least touch base with each of the groups of folks throughout the month of February, and we did actually hit all of those goals and have some conversations, which was good. So our Community Action Committee talked about a couple of our upcoming events. We've got the March 17th Spring Tree Giveaway and the tree climbing competition, some of the things that we may need. So that was really most of our discussion, and some marketing strategies that we would like to have in the upcoming year. So I didn't know for you guys who were on that call, based off our conversation, if y'all had any updates or any thoughts since we talked last.
I can't remember if we did it in that meeting or in the previous board meeting. We talked about somebody attending the Oak Street Ahead
Yes.
project. Was that
That was
CAC or was that for the main meeting?
That was just if anyone, it would
Okay,
be wonderful.
We can bring that back up later because I didn't go, but I watched all the video and I read the PDF, so we can get back to that later. But
Yeah. So if you have anything you'd like to share on that, that'd be great. Yeah. Okay. And I know we had talked about doing, because the board is so new, looking at during the month of April, doing like a introduction to the board members. So Shani, were you gonna kind of spearhead that? Did you have anything you wanted to share on that?
I just, what, are there any specific questions that you're wanting, everybody to answer? Or?
No, I don't know if y'all have any thoughts. I think it'd be nice, everybody could kind of share like a nice picture that you would like to have posted. And then, why it's important for you to serve as a representative, for trees and for the city. That might be something that I would like to see shared.
Okay.
I don't know if y'all have any other thoughts.
yeah, like why did you
Yeah, well, like a
join
why
the
did
tree
you-
board?
Mhm.
Yeah, I love that. That's a good idea.
I did reach out to Felicia and them, because in our little committee deal, we talked about potentially like how merch sales would work, how purchases would work. The purchases, that we just submit a deal saying like, hey, this is what we're wanting to buy, and then a city employee would purchase that for us. And that way they can keep record of all that kind of stuff. Unfortunately, it doesn't sound like the kind of Cash App or Venmo PayPal thing is gonna be an option. So it'd still have to be like a cash or check deal as far as that goes. They did mention about possibly doing some QR codes for all the boards. That way maybe we could have that on a flyer or something like that. Someone can scan it and make a donation there. I don't think that'll really work as far as like sales transactions if we're trying to like sell merch that way. So maybe you do a donation deal where if you donate X amount of dollars, you get this kind of like a package deal. You may be able to figure out a way to kind of loophole that system there. I'll reach back out to her as far as where we're at on because I mentioned I think the QR code would be great. I don't know how IT feels about that and implementing that on the website. So I don't want to give them work with that, backstory there. So I'll reach back out to them and see where we're at on if we can get that, and maybe we can have that done, especially before the tree giveaway. I'll start all that kind of stuff.
I think one note on that is if it's over, I don't know the specific amount, but if it's over, a donation over a specific amount, then it has to be approved by the city council.
I think everything has to get appropriated, approved, I
That's
do
wonderful.
believe. Now, so Krista and I actually met with Felicia for different reasons, which we'll talk about in a minute, but it did come up again about how do we sell and or receive donations. And so, and this came up, Chris, because last Arbor Day, we had some tree t-shirts. We're like, hey, for a donation, get this t-shirt. And then we found lots of folks don't have cash, and no surprise. How do we handle the electronic or digital transactions? And so anyway, it took us back to speak with Felicia and kind of not reading between the lines, but I did ask her, how does the city feel about a city board actually selling merchandise? It kind of thought it was probably time to ask that question since we don't have a real good way to transact. And so their preference, unless we're doing a specific fundraiser, would be that we're really just doing some giveaways. And it hadn't really occurred to me before, and I'll just kind of for history's sake, I'm used to working small nonprofit. We're just kind of professional begging. We're like, how do we get money for everything? So I'm a little slow on this, but we're a city board, and it occurred to me like maybe that's not the best way to go and say, hey, we're selling on behalf of the city tree board, right? And so maybe if we rethink our promotions and merchandising, that we go kind of smaller scale, some good giveaways, right? So we don't have to worry about high cost. And then looking to your point, it will not to step away from the QR codes, because it does look like if it is possible, that's something that they would like to move to, just to even have on the city websites, is if you want to donate to any of our boards and commissions, if there's something you're passionate about, that they will look at having a QR code for that intent and purpose, which then we probably could put on like a little flyer or something if we had a booth. But to maybe step away from the sales strategy, that it's more giveaways. And that way, if we wanted to drive some revenue for tree groves, that we would have donations and sponsorships really through that for Arbor Day and for that specific reason, and not just maybe having a table or a booth somewhere and we're selling some cool t-shirts or swag or whatever. So yes, we want to follow up on the QR code, but I'm thinking maybe we should rethink what we look to purchase, what we give away. Also being very mindful that we don't want to generate additional waste. I don't want to create or give away anything that's going to turn around and go directly into the trash.
That was something I kind of thought of, because I think t-shirts are good, but I'm a big fan of totes.
Yeah.
I don't know how expensive it is to get totes made,
Yeah.
but a lot of people are transitioning to that, bringing their own bags to the grocery store, those types of things.
Yeah. So I think so if we target specifically, so let's say, for instance, tree climbing competition is going to be Toad Suck weekend. We'll hopefully get some of that residual, some higher traffic. So maybe they're some smaller. I think totes are great. They might be a little expensive for something like that, but we could do, I don't know. We just need to, think about maybe not t-shirts, but what are the smaller items that we could give. Totes, I think, are great for,
especially for Toad Suck Day weekend, because people would like to have a bag to carry the stuff they pick
carry
up
around.
from, the various booths and stuff. That would be really good for Toad Suck weekend.
So maybe we want to look at that. If we get bulk, the more we spend, the bigger number we get. If we got something that wasn't maybe specific to a particular event, it could be for the year and carry us through all of our events. So
I can reach out to Randy's Athletics. That's who the Parks Department does all their shirts and stuff from.
yeah,
I'm not saying that'd be the cheapest thing. If we
Right.
want to go through like the 3-quote process, we can look
I
at
think
that
we
as
have to
well.
now, don't we?
yeah.
Have to
Well, if we're
solicit
gonna-
quotes. Yeah.
So I thought about that. The totes are really good. I know we did like little hankies that could be a kerchief. Also, when people are doing tree planting, it gives them something to wipe their hands on, right? So that's something that's functional. People do love stickers. I would say let's not
The
step away from stickers.
stickers
They're like a huge hit. We
very
see them on
popular.
laptops and books, and they're at cars. So that's something that that's good marketing as well. And just depending on cost, we may have to pick and choose at which event we can have certain things. That would be good. Also, any other thoughts?
Going back to the QR code thing, I was going to say it's not hard. Like IT doesn't have to do really anything to make the QR code. They have to just set up an account for like on Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, whatever for the city, and then that will generate the QR code. Unless they wanna set up separate accounts for each board or something like that.
I just mentioned having a QR code for.
It would be a
to
payment
donate to
portal,
each board,
basically.
so I don't
Oh,
know
for a payment
how-
portal, okay, yeah, well,
Some kind of a portal
okay,
that would have, and it
I
needs,
see,
they need ultimate security.
I see.
Yeah.
So I was thinking like, oh, we'll just have an address for the city for donations, and that they create a Venmo account that's like City of Conway, and then all things would go into that. No, okay, I see what you're doing.
It'll
I
be
see
a
it.
little more secure, yeah,
Yeah.
probably than that is. And I think the other part too would be, being sure, having a way that people can designate which board that they wanna donate to. So being able to recognize those funds pretty easily.
Because they would also need receipts as well, depending on how much they donate and stuff. If they're trying to write that off later on.
Yeah.
Which I'll let IT handle that. I don't wanna do that.
No, it's not a big deal. Oh wait, now it's a much bigger deal than I thought it was. Yeah.
Nothing's ever as easy as it sounds, just like planting a tree, never that easy. Okay, thank you for reaching out on that. And then, yeah, Shani, I know, if you'll just set something up, like a little Google form or some survey, it's a way for us to upload pictures and start compiling maybe this month too.
Yeah.
And then, okay, what else do we talk about during the Community Action Committee meeting?
I just remembered that we were gonna do the what's it called, Canvas thing.
Oh,
We submit-
Canva.
Canva, thank you.
Canva.
I completely forgot about that. I was like, I was gonna submit some ideas to that. I need to write that down again.
Yes.
Did anybody actually do anything with that, with Canva?
I looked at it, but I didn't
Okay.
make anything. I
I
was just
was-
kind of like going through like what the
That's kinda
previous
what I did, too.
projects were.
Okay.
Yeah.
Explored.
Okay, and I was gonna ask, because I did click on Teams and I'm like, if there's something there, I can't see it. So, good,
Yes.
okay.
The only other thing I have on the notes wise, as far as that goes, was potentially getting some more trees from another source. Did we ever hear anything about that? I don't know if the source
Possibly.
wanted to be named.
We're not
We're not sure
See,
yet.
last
That was
I
the only
heard, we
thing that I
have-
just wanted to, I think that was it.
Last I heard, we only have 475 trees, I think.
We've got
425.
425.
425, okay. But I've been telling everybody, I'm like, get there early if you want a tree.
So, okay, so if we're good on all of that, and I know we did talk about tree groves and brick sponsorship. So last year we had a form where people can donate
Sponsors,
to
yeah.
bricks and tree groves. So for sake of time right now, I think we'll move on. This will be something that we'll want to do a little bit later on. We are not going to do a spring planting. Obviously, it's kind of too late. But we do have funding and we do have approved locations to do a planting later on this year. So I would like for us to generate a little sponsorship form for any folks who would like to contribute to that. But that'll be later on, so we don't have to talk about that now. That would be hopefully next month. We can pick back up on that conversation and get something drafted. So,
We have 625 trees.
okay, thank you.
Oh, nice.
We need to add, okay, so we have 625, and that's just off what we purchased,
That's what we
correct? That's not-
purchased. We could get another donation or two.
Okay,
And yeah, those 625 are in. So, and they're not all oak. No, they're not. Those got substituted. They're willow oaks.
Mhm.
So we have 100 willow oaks, 100 bald cypress, 100 native pecan, 100 persimmon, 100 black gum, 100 Kentucky coffee tree, and 25 red mulberries. I ordered 100, but they only sent 25.
I'm pretty certain that Green Bay Packaging is gonna donate several hundred trees as well.
so our
That would
potential
be
secret
really
donor
good.
is Scott. He just outed himself on TV, so that's okay. I guess
we
we're
have a-
secure
we-
enough to say that.
Yeah, we have a landowner resource program that
Yeah.
specifically is there for private landowners, so they're gonna donate some trees.
It's wonderful, yeah. Would you mind sending that email of counts and selections and just forward it to me? and maybe
Yes, thank
Skylar-
you. I was gonna write them all down and I was like,
Yeah.
I'll come back and get
Yeah.
that later.
Well, and it's on Facebook, so we
It
have
is
a
on the
Facebook
Facebook,
event,
yeah.
and then she added the selections on a fun post, and so
Oh,
we'll
I
make
must miss
sure that
that,
we get
okay.
the discussion updated on the event. And Chris, just to let you know, so last year, we got a hold of some free trees and gave away 602 hours. So there's a big demand for residents, even though we do public trees, the residents really showed up and showed out to grab some trees last year. And so, but we did allow them to get up to 5 species per resident last year. So this year, we're capping out at 2. So we do expect a bigger turnout this year. I was thinking we didn't get as many trees this year for some reason.
Well, and I will say the other thing is the ag department is doing Free Tree Fridays, not in Conway. And there's supposed to be one the very next week, which we'll get the details on that in Morrilton. And then there's one in Greenbrier on April 7th. So if we run out of trees, we can also
redirect.
Yeah.
Okay. So because there was such a great turnout last year, we went ahead and put in the budget before end of the year to purchase for early spring giveaway. So these are bare seedling, bare root trees. So they are small, but we'll have planting instructions. We'll have bags for takeaways that day. And Chris, we do need some volunteers if any of y'all are available. I know tentatively.
Yeah, I've already volunteered. I'm gonna be there. I already said I'm gonna be closed at work, so I'll definitely be there.
Okay, and I can do that. I'm pretty sure I can do the full 4 hours, but I know I'll be there through the majority of it. Amy, you're good to go too?
Yes.
Okay, great.
That sounds great.
Excellent. So I don't know how many more folks you need, but you have us. Okay,
We can make it work.
okay,
I'll make
perfect.
sure I get the seedlings to you guys Friday morning.
Okay,
Great.
Friday morning.
They're
Good.
chilling right now.
Yeah.
And if I need to meet you somewhere.
Which is
or do
good
whatever,
because it's way too warm outside right now.
I would recommend though that when people get them, that they don't wait to plant them.
That's our,
Because
that's
the
our,
bare roots, the root hairs can dry out really quickly.
Okay.
And if that happens, then the chances of survival go way down.
yeah, we do, we'll wet a paper towel, wrap the roots, stick it in a plastic bag. Actually, I was gonna look for waxed paper bags. I had that thought, they might cost too much. But, and then they get planting directions that say plant as soon as possible.
Yeah. Okay, awesome.
Can we jump back real quick? What were we saying about Canva?
So Canva, we have a Canva Pro account because we opened it up for the city tree board. It was free for nonprofit and like government entities. And so we do have a Canva account.
Okay.
And so I'm not sure if you got the invite to that. I don't know if you want to have the invite to that. And that's just a way for us to collaborate, especially the promotional marketing gurus, like I'm pointing this way. And Natalie used that when she did our marketing for us, and so it's just a good place to go in and
Yeah,
get
I
some
use
planning.
it all the time for different organizations
Okay, great.
on campus, and so.
And then, okay, so I'll make sure that we get you invited for that as well. Okay. Something else we were gonna say, made me think about the tree. And you guys saw, we did change our name from Free Tree Friday to Spring Tree Giveaway. Last year, we had the collaboration use that name. We want to make sure that they can hang on to that as far as Department of Agriculture. So quick change on that. You'll watch your verbiage. Anything else? I think that's it for free trees. Lots of free trees. We will, I will actually ask you guys next week and maybe Natalie to help y'all post and share. We'll see if the city may do some cross-posting and sharing information for that, just to make sure that we're getting the message out. Again, next week, though, usually they show up in droves. We went to March 17th, but can we back up for a second to March 11th? And do you want to talk about what March 11th is?
Yeah, so March 11th, which is this Saturday, is the UCA big event. So it's a big volunteer day for UCA students. And we had worked back in the fall with the preschool, it's Milestones Preschool, which used to be Faulkner County Day School. So it's a nonprofit school that serves developmentally delayed children. And they actually have all children, they accept everybody. But anyway, so we worked with them to get a grant from the ag department to remove a hazardous tree and plant 3 new trees. And then we also did like a tree management plan for their playground. They have a really nice tree shaded playground, which I mean, it's just wonderful because they have classes year round too. So in the summer even, so it's very nice that they have that. Anyway, this grant, requires a match. And so they're matching with volunteer time. So they've had a couple of volunteer work days, but they're going to have students there this Saturday helping with like a cleanup, basically like a playground cleanup. And We do want to install like water bags on the new trees and mulch the new trees. I can't be there though because I have to do another work event, different one. So they would like a couple tree board members to help if we can get that. And it's what did I say, 9 to 1? 9 to 1, but even if you could only be there for an hour or two, I mean, they would be grateful for any help.
I was gonna say, I have a martial arts graduation for my daughter at 10.
Yeah.
So we can head that way.
Yeah. So just, you can just show up at the school.
Where is it located?
Robinson or South?
I want to say it's south. It's across from Old Sally Cone Elementary.
Like Davis
Oh.
and South or Davis and Robinson?
Oh, in that old,
Station?
it used to be a church
It used to be a
building.
church,
Thank,
yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about, yeah.
South
Back when I
Boulevard.
went to school there, it was a church.
South Boulevard, so you just
Yeah.
pulled it up.
Okay, thank you.
1700 South Boulevard.
So I have a 5K. I'll go over after.
Okay.
Before I sit down. I'll just keep going.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there anybody who can be there like at 9?
I can do that. I don't like getting up that early on Saturday, but I can.
You don't have to do
I was
that.
gonna say, I'll definitely show up for like the last couple of hours for sure, but I'll try to be there at 9.
Oh, you don't have to be there. Just
And I
whatever, anything will be good.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll make sure they have the mulch and the water bags, because we bought the water bags.
I was gonna say,
Tree
I
board
could
did.
be there if you need somebody like to just kind of be like, hey, like we've got volunteers coming, just as like a face to be like, hey, but then I would have to leave and then come back.
Yeah.
Well,
If
I'll
that's
just let
something.
Colleen know that
Okay,
we'll be a little
okay.
bit later.
And I know Colleen, if you'll tell her Tracy's coming too.
Okay.
If it's the Colleen Brock I'm thinking of,
It's
she might
Colleen
know
Brock.
me from when, like, way back when we went to church together, like when I was a kid.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So, but I'll go and
I think she's gonna have a lot of students.
Yeah.
Well, it depends on the weather, of course, but
Is Colleen the UCA contact or the Milestones contact?
she's the milestones.
So I will go for sure. Okay. Thank y'all. And you helped write the grant as well. So Krista was really helpful in being able to do that. I did think also that I might ask them if they would like the Adopt a Tree certificates and little journals and stuff too for their students. We have an activity that we did, and we have a lot left, probably 200 of materials, little journals, certificates, things like that.
Well, and
So-
actually, that's some of what they're doing to match the grant also is educational programs related to trees.
Okay,
So,
maybe if I can grab those from you this week sometime, if I can get in storage, then I'll bring those to them as well. So, okay. All right, too. And I just thought of something else, sorry, bouncing back to spring tree giveaway, sorry, we're all over the place, but we're still in March, so here we go. So the one thing, I think, if it's a possibility, and I'll kind of lean on Skylar, Shani, Sam, some of you guys, for the spring tree giveaway, it would be nice to see what the residents do with their trees.
I was thinking of that.
So is there a way we could get, like on the planting instructions that you give folks, a QR code or something, or a way that directs them to upload their pictures either to our Instagram or to Facebook that shows, I mean, it's not like hard data science, but it'd be nice to see, how
Just
people
like a
interact.
picture of their family.
Their family or
planting.
planting their tree or something like that. Could y'all,
I would just have them DM you.
Yeah, I would say send pictures or something, or tell
Yeah.
them to share it.
You do
To
share it and
that,
tag.
you would make a like a little hashtag
Yes.
and then do that. You
Oh.
can filter by that way.
Mhm.
But as far as like actually uploading them onto Facebook, one of us would have to do that.
Yeah.
They could
So
share
they
it
would
to
either
us or
send us the
it to us.
pictures or they could upload it themselves and then we can share their pictures
sure,
and just have a hashtag for spring tree giveaway or something like that.
okay. We get Conway in that hashtag somewhere. Would be good. We could do that. Would y'all mind kind of taking that on and then get with
Conway Spring Tree
Krista,
giveaway.
or maybe you send over the
Yeah.
planting
Just
instructions?
if you'll send me some, yeah, either way, like, cause I've got the planting instructions, so if you just send me like what verbiage should be on there about how people should send us their pictures.
Conway Spring Tree giveaway.
That's what I would do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hashtag, yeah.
and just something kind of fun, that invites them to share what they've done with their trees or where they put them or something kind of fun and compelling to get them to interact.
This isn't an aside, but I have some friends who got wanted to give away trees at an Arbor Day like 10 years ago. And it's like a giant oak tree in their backyard now.
Yeah. So it'll be good. Okay, if y'all will do that and work with Krista on that, it'd be much appreciated. When do you need that by? Like when will you start?
Like the day
Something
I mean,
I wanted y'all.
And then
a
we could
couple
do a
days
follow-up
before would be
social
even better.
post that said, you know, like maybe within that next week, not to cut you off, I'm so sorry, but like a follow-up to it online on social media. Yes, ma'am.
Something to consider, and I'm not sure that this is actually true, but I've been told that when you use a hashtag, if you capitalize each word, then it helps with accessibility on computers. So if we can create that hashtag like that, then that would allow the accessibility when it's read, so that it's understandable for them.
Makes it easier for me.
Yeah,
I don't even have any disabilities that I know of.
Like when I wrote down the hashtag, I automatically just capitalized Conway spring tree giveaway. Like, 'cause that's the way I do it too, when I do put hashtags.
Awesome. Okay. Very cool. All right. So let's move on to the tree climbing competition. There's really not a lot to share at this point. So I will share with you, Chris, that we have, so the urban, or do you want to tell them what we've got going on with the tree climbing competition? Okay. So the Urban Forestry Council puts on a tree climbing competition championship every year. These are for professional certified arborists. And so they do their maneuvers. I think there's a life savings maneuver they do, and then what their professional work. So there's it's really like a 3-day event for them. But they've actually, Krista partnered with them, and so they're going to do it in Conway, which is great because it pulls from multiple states. And Kitty said that they actually sold out within 3 minutes. As soon as they opened up registration, it was shut down in 3 minutes. That's how fast. And I started following their page a little bit before they committed and saw lots of people as far as Georgia saying, where's it going to be this year? So they'd kind of been waiting on an announcement. So sold through very, very, very quickly. Hendrix has partnered with us to allow us to have it on their campus. It's actually going to be the same weekend as Toadsuck weekend.
Do we know how many
No, but I will get you that. I can get that.
how many people to expect?
Will be in the competition. Do you know the number?
Well, I think it's about 50 competitors. It ends up being like 100 volunteers, and then in addition to the competitors, which is interesting that there are more
If
volunteers.
there's gonna be a large crowd management, it's probably something we need to notify the mayor's office about too.
Well, it's on
So
Hendrix.
it's on Hendrix property.
So-
Just so the police, because if we're gonna have a large gathering of people anywhere in the city, even if it's on one of the university properties, then we would still wanna alert the mayor's office. That way we have traffic considerations and counts. I don't know how many people we're talking about.
Yeah, I don't know
And
how
how
to
big the number.
gauge the
When to contact.
spectators, you know.
So, and I have reached out to Toadsuck and I sent them a follow-up email today, the Toadsuck committee, about do they want to coordinate in any way? Because I'm assuming the location on Hendrix is at the end of Markham, or where are we gonna be exactly? Do you
It's
know?
actually, most of it's supposed to be kind of around the Labyrinth area, you know where the Labyrinth is? What would that be, is it Front Street? that
Yeah,
runs
right where
along the
Front
back?
Street curves
Where
around
Front Street
into,
curves,
Mhm.
into Washington
Oh,
Street.
yeah.
it's in that area,
Okay.
in the curve.
Okay.
There's some
Oh,
really
I-
nice big
I
trees
think I
there.
know. Okay.
And the thing, it's funny, it's because
That's
it's
Front
dead
Street, not Markham.
dead weekend for Hendrix, which is kind of a weird time to be having an event.
Yeah.
But that side of campus is not like an academic area or a residential area, so it's a little bit more separated from
Remote.
the students.
So, so I will ask Chris about attendees. So I've reached out to Kitty, who's doing the marketing, and there will be someone else who's doing planning with them about what is our role, what's expected. And so it will be really good to know actually what the city would want from us too.
At first, we just need some sort of a
Number.
rough estimate. That way we can try to figure out who needs to be involved.
Okay. And then, excuse me. So no, they've actually partnered with, so the Forestry Council got an AMP grant from Conway, so they've got some funds to do that. I know they're seeking sponsorships. They are also seeking volunteers for all of their efforts too. All different skill levels and skill sets. Their forms are all on their website. And so I did throw out some dates of meetings, and I would like for whoever wants to help with the promotion of that from the Community Action Committee, if it's all of y'all, if you would like to all be on the call, or just one or two of us to speak to the rest of the group, but to find out kind of some parameters in terms of marketing for the event. I know initially we had talked about maybe having some activities and different events
Yeah.
there, but
My
but I
impression
really
was
wanna
that-
hear.
Yeah, my impression was that they do want to make the event more educational for spectators, and so I think that might be where we can really plug in, is providing a little bit of just tree care information. We talked about doing like a tree ID walk on Hendricks campus, because it's an amazing tree campus too. Not an official tree campus, but
labeled and
amazing
identified.
campus of trees.
Yes.
So just a few little educational activities like that.
And I did go ahead and send out and requested, so the Geography Club from UCA did a wonderful exhibit for us about tree rings and kind of data off of that, which would be a wonderful
I actually think
exhibit
that
for folks.
participants would find that really,
Yeah.
because I mean, these are professional arborists that would think, oh, that's really
Yeah,
cool.
that's some really cool stuff. So we don't want to overcommit or distract from what they're doing from. Also, we have to bear in mind that we do have Toad Suck that is just right down the road, and how that's
That's what I was gonna ask,
Gonna
are we
work.
doing anything with Toad Suck, or is we just committed to
so I
the tree
did
climbing competition?
reach out to ask if they had any desire for coordination, putting us
Okay.
on the schedule
Okay, I
of
didn't know if that's
events. You know, I've not heard back, and so I reached out again today to see if there was any interest, but I'm a little bit pedaling to hear also from the Forestry Council on really what do they want us to do, you know? But we could get some really great banners on either side of the Hendricks, you know, those main entrances, and get some marketing for it and kind of help spread the word that way. Obviously,
Hendricks may
cross-sharing.
have some requirements or restrictions on signage also.
Did we ever figure out, like, if that was something that, like, we were going with whatever they created, or if we're creating our own marketing?
So this is where I'm kind of, I really want to wait until we have that conversation with
Okay.
them, just because she did send the logo. We have full permission to use their logo for things, but that was kind of back when we were talking about, ooh, we can sell things, we can do some fundraising, blah, blah, blah. Now, kind of rethinking, this should be maybe more like promotional free giveaway things.
Okay.
Let's let them promote their event and see how we can support, so if we can kind of table that until we have that conversation with them. And then obviously we'll talk with you guys as well too before we get too far into that conversation. But I think let's really promote this event for them, and then whatever we can do to help get our voice out there, just as being a good partner, sponsor, and that. You know.
Well, and you know, I also think that this is an event that we can use to kind of educate the public about what professional arborists do, and just the fact that, you know, professional arborists are highly skilled, and there are reasons why you would want somebody with credentials to work in your, you know, home trees rather than just somebody who has a chainsaw and
A really
says
great
they
deal.
can cut.
I've seen too many videos
Yeah.
of idiots with chainsaws trying to take down trees, and it's like, oh no, don't.
Yeah, I mean, because that's the thing, is this, I mean, this really highlights the skills of these arborists.
So stay tuned. So, and then as soon as I get times and dates, I'll send that out to you guys to see who all can attend with that one too. So, okay. They do, well, I'm gonna pause on that till we have that. Anything else we want to talk about that right now? We'll be May 5th and 6th that weekend, but we all know that. Let's see. Okay, and then the other committee meetings that we did have, because community action, we've kind of talked about us. Sustainable Works, really, I met with Logan. I had to postpone. Sorry, we had a second kind of makeup little touch base. Not a lot to share right now as far as the sustainability committee. That's really just about growing and developing relationships. And so I guess I could talk about both. The Canopy Management Committee, I'm hesitating. We had a meeting with Felicia this week, and so where the Sustainability Committee, we talked about let's start growing some relationships, seeing what everyone needs from us in terms of city departments, key stakeholders. We did find out that the city is going to be doing a comprehensive plan, and there will be some meetings upcoming. The trees will be included in the comprehensive plan. So really what I want to say is anyone that y'all think that we may want to invite to a community meeting, let's say 6 months down the road, we've got that sheet going on in the Google Drive. Just start dumping names of businesses, name of interested people. If we can just start adding those in there, and then we'll start creating those relationships or continuing to foster those relationships so that they know that we're here to support them. The goal will be really to find out like what is important to those individuals, how we can support them, and then also to stay in contact with them so when it comes time for comprehensive plan discussions or community stakeholder meetings through the city, that we've got folks to invite to get to those meetings as well. Did that make sense? I feel very scattered today. I'm sorry. Okay, great. So Logan and I on the call the other day, I don't know if you've had a chance to look at any of those resources, and that's okay if not, because it was like 4 days ago.
Yeah, the links you sent during the meeting, I was able to look at those during the meeting and
Yeah.
a little bit after.
Yeah. So through the Arbor Day, what I sent to him just as an example, so Conway Corp, who is like our biggest sponsor, they give us our funds. Each year they deal with our utility, streets, water, trees, line management. Arbor Day Foundation has some resources online that are good for utility companies. And so I just kind of sent those over to Logan's way. I think he's the appropriate person to take a look at those and see what might be a good fit for conversations. And again, to show them that there are other support and there's resources and other programs that we could maybe offer through Arbor Day Foundation to get to the utility company as well. So he's going to be looking at that and seeing how we can better support Conway Corp and vice versa. Fair to say? Like I've got you committed now, so there we go. But y'all do, if you've not taken the time, we're Tree City USA. There's lots of great resources on there. So take some time and dig in. It's even helpful for those of us who aren't tree people in a professional nature to understand some of the missions, direction, and some good tools on there. So check that out. And then I want to move on to the Canopy Management Committee. We also did have the opportunity to meet. And Chris, just so you know, and I'm sure you already do know, our founding ordinance talked about having a tree care management plan when the tree board was founded back in 2006, and we still don't have a good working piece of material for that. I know there are different ordinances throughout the city, but not one place that you can go find that information. And so that's been something that we've taken very seriously. We've tried to get tree care management plan off of the ground. Krista has done some species selection work to share with the city to be hopefully a usable tool that we could have out for residents and public trees alike. And the other piece of it was, how do we just have a good framework of how the city plants, maintains, protects, and develops, bearing in mind the protections of all of our tree canopy and seeing it as good, usable green infrastructure. And so we've kind of been racking our brains, this little committee it started last year. We had a few meetings trying to get it off of the ground. And so at our last meeting, we decided we should probably go to the city, which is exactly what we did, to find out, how do we go about this? What are our funding opportunities? How would the city like to see this developed? And to our delight, that's when Felicia shared that they're already looking at doing a complete city comprehensive plan. We also have a new city planner now, so that's going to be great and perfect timing for that. And so it looks like instead of us trying to develop a master plan or a tree care management plan separate and apart from what the city's doing, they would like to have us as part of that new comprehensive plan. I don't know if you feel comfortable interjecting anything or
well, we're still in the early phases of discussions with a comprehensive plan update. But yes, that was my request was to ensure that we look at the tree canopy and that we look at trees during the revision of the comprehensive plan. Right now, it's really early phases, very, very light discussion. We're looking at, planning is looking at putting the long-range planner that gets hired. This will be one of their projects, and we're looking at more kickstart meetings for earlier, a little bit more formal discussions with the mayor's office, probably around November. And we'll go from there, but I think it would be more beneficial to have this type of a tree care management plan or different tree strategies incorporated into an overall master plan than it would be as a standalone plan.
That was what Felicia said also. So
Yeah.
figure.
I think that we had that same conversation.
Okay.
So when we talk about the bang for our buck, we can accomplish more when we put things together, especially when you're talking about development. And development is probably the number one reason why things make our tree canopy go away. But when we're talking about canopy management in general, there's other things to consider: invasive species removal, undesirable trees and undesirable non-natives that come in and drown out the canopy, the invasive species that are non-tree related, honeysuckle, different stuff like that comes in and drowns out your canopy and causes an unhealthy environment. But all of that can be addressed through a larger master plan and be incorporated into things like the development strategies that we have moving forward. That's all going to be considered through our long-range planner. I'm trying to squish everything into a 3-week period to try to get things moving forward, but with Oak Street ahead, kind of winding down and moving into an implementation strategy. Implementation is not where the planners are needed. It's through the planning process. So we're gearing up towards other projects, and part of that is going to be conversations on moving forward with comprehensive updates and zoning updates. So.
Which we were really excited to hear that of course we will excited to hear that was kind of the thought in the process, and that it won't be just for beautification alone. It can be for flood management, and we talked about some of the needs where other cities were kind of sparse in green spaces in the lower socioeconomic areas. That's not necessarily the case here, but we moreover have aging canopy, right? So that's a higher cost for someone to have to maintain. And so, how do we handle all those things differently? And so if it's handled through a master plan, I think it'll have a little more meat to it. It's not a separate tool that people have to refer to. It's all in one place. I think that's a really good strategy. I did, back to, you mentioned Oak Street ahead. I didn't get to go to the master plan, but Felicia said, people were actually pretty positive about giving up small rights of way and land use for trees and beautification or flood mitigation. I don't know what the conversations were about that, but you said there was a pretty positive response for people wanting to give up space for trees along that line too. So, so the kind of the short story for the canopy management committee is that we don't have to try to figure this out on our own.
The story's kind of wait.
It's wait, but it's wait. But not to not wait and do anything.
That's the only frustrating thing, is that we do have to be patient.
Yeah.
I think.
And what are our priorities? What are the concerns we've heard from the community? What are we seeing out there? And then
a lot of people want to see Bradford pear trees gone.
good.
And we talked at one point, this is way early discussion at one point, about maybe the city could sort of give an incentive to, if they rip out their Bradford pears and replace them with native trees, then we could encourage them. I don't know if they do that or not, but that's like way down the line.
Has a bounty program.
It's a replacement program.
They
call it a bounty.
Is it the bounty?
The bounty program.
Funner name.
The bounty, yeah.
They do their annual tree bounty, and
Which is
you
really
give-
more of an educational campaign,
Yeah.
because they don't get that many people actually taking them up on the offer.
Correct.
But it's an opportunity to educate the public about invasive species. I would love to see us even just remove some Bradford pears from city property this time of year when they're blooming. I think that, and then, do some publicity around that, I think could be meaningful.
I think through your role as an advisory committee, you can always, throughout if we do the comprehensive growth plan, then I think that you can always throw memos at it. You can say, we advise the following to be added or considered. It doesn't necessarily mean everything that's requested will get added to the plan.
Sure.
But it does hold a little bit of weight, and it assists with the overall process if this was a consideration from the tree advisory committee.
It'll be helpful because I think, the way things are designed now, they kind of design what they want, put it on the property, where if it's included in the future that says, hey, you can still design on this property, but we ask that you leave X amount of tree and or green space, they then will have to create their design around that instead of just clear cutting. We can't do that everywhere, but it would be nice to see that there were some steps towards that too.
There's other purposes too, like a complete streets program typically has a green space with a tree buffer in between it. And we're going to look at a lot of different opportunities over the next couple of years. So
Great. All right. Well, we appreciate that and being included. And then also, once the comprehensive plan is finished, to your point, either doing memos or if we need a tree care management plan or some kind of addendum to it that, would not be appropriate for the comprehensive plan, we can always add to that, like you said, too. So good news on that. I did also get clarification. So when we had the meeting, and this isn't really on the agenda, but we do have one open position still on our board. The city did a press release and open nominations for all boards and commissions. That's going to be open through March 29th. Just so you guys know right now, I did also reach out to the chamber group because the representative as it calls for right now is someone needs to be affiliated with the Chamber of Commerce. That may change in the future, roles and representation, but for now we'll stick to that. So I just reached out to the chamber and said, hey, if y'all can send this nomination form out to any of your members and or staff and to try to help get some folks recruited onto the board. But know that that's open nomination through March 29th, and then it goes to the mayor for decision. And all of that information, nomination forms, can be found on the website. So we do have that. I know there will be some changes with how board members are selected and the way that the certain specific roles as they've been assigned may not be true. In the future, we may have some flexibility with that because we all want diversity. We want to have have access to more people who want to participate on the boards. And so the intent is that it's going to make it be a little bit more flexible for members at large to join the board. And so it's kind of long-winded, but we had talked about looking at bylaws and reassigning committees and looking at different roles on the board. And I'm going to say too, we just need to kind of hold on and wait for that because there will be some changes at the city level in the way that we do some recruiting onto the boards and maybe some guidelines for how we do our bylaws. And so that'll be tabled till probably May or June for that conversation, just to let y'all know we kind of hit on that last month as well. Let's see. Scott has something fun to share, and Krista and Scott have something fun to share, and I gave you guys this handout. And this is not, obviously, this is about Monticello, Arkansas, but urban tree benefits. Scott, you want to kind of, or whomever, you want to talk about?
Did you have a chance to talk?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so you know more than I do.
Oh, okay. All right, so what you see is urban tree benefits. The Arkansas Center for Forest Business is a new center at University of Arkansas Monticello at their forestry school, and one of their missions is to increase the awareness of forestry and increase forest business. But they have created these one-pagers for, I think there's about 8 cities right now, but I happen to be on another board with the professor in charge of that, Dr. Matthew Pelkey, And I told him that we would be interested in potentially getting a one-pager for Conway. I think this is an excellent way to put information about the value of trees before the your average citizen. My boss asks me to pare things down all the time because I'm a very detailed person. So let's get it one page. Let's get it one paragraph. You know, pictures. Let's make it visual. I think this is great. It really helps people understand the value of trees as far as sequestering carbon, protecting water quality, just general values. You can see there they have some pretty neat stats and things there. They're using iTree Canopy to figure all of this out. I think we talked about that as far as our tree plan. So Dr. Pelkey said that they would love to do that for Arkansas. So, I mean, I'm sorry, for Conway, Arkansas. And so anyway, he asked me to email him and remind him. I spoke with him on Friday about it in person, and he said, yeah, they'd love to do that. So he even said that maybe Dr. Saad, Shateri, or Dr. Gutierrez might be willing to come and talk with us. I mean, this is one of their primary missions is to educate the public. So perhaps at a tree board meeting later on in the year when they get this thing developed, and we could have them come talk to us about the economic benefits of trees in the community. So that's pretty cool.
And when you look at these figures, so again, this is for Monticello, not Conway, but you see like, you know, annual benefits of more than $1 million
Right.
due to like the current existing trees.
Absolutely.
Yeah, which I'm sure Conway's that much or more.
Yeah, probably 10 times, I would guess. But anyway, so they said that they'd be really happy to help us with this. I think I'm gonna stay on him and see if maybe we can get this done, hopefully before the toad suck deal, and
That
then
would
you
be
guys
great.
could pass it out.
I was
would be
about to
really
say,
nice.
wouldn't that be wonderful? We had
Yeah,
something
so-
like that, but.
I mean, we'll keep our fingers crossed. I'll stay in touch with him and we'll see how quickly or how long it takes. It may take longer than that. I don't know, but he sounded like that. He was very.
I mean, they have a template, they just have to do the project for our city
Basically,
and
yeah.
then plug in the numbers, yeah.
That's right. Basically, they would just need to do the eye canopy deal and measure what our canopy cover is, and then do some economic forecasting and figuring and statistics and things. So then they could put this together pretty quickly, I think.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so it's nice. New school, looking for projects, they just came across this, so that'll be a benefit, because that's part of what we are, is we don't have the data, you know, we don't know where we need to go.
Right.
So we know kind of what we've got, and this is just a snapshot, you know, there'll be other folks working on this, but it'd be kind of neat to have that. And I'll just plug, if there's students or if they need a place to come present their findings and have an activity, that would also be a great, if they can have it prepared and wanted to do it themselves, and or we can help share this information, be kind of cool to have.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, I don't know what the availability would be if we needed a little bit bigger setting or something. I don't know if we could use the full city council room if we needed more room, or,
Yeah.
you know, I don't know if any of the people from Hendricks or from just
We
here
can
in
use my
town.
lovely auditorium at my building.
Well, there you go. There you go. I mean, you know, if the general public is interested in that, you know, we could. I'll try to get enough lead time. So if we need to move the location to someplace where it'd still be on TV.
Okay. There, or even, and to clarify, I mean, if they want to present to us would be great.
Oh,
But
yeah.
if they wanted to come participate at Hendricks on that weekend, to be
Yeah.
there for the tree climbing competition, their students could be out there too, come and so.
Okay.
I
But
don't,
either way.
I don't know if it's appropriate or if it's been done before. I know UCA specifically has College of Natural Science and Mathematics has their yearly symposium. And so if there are undergraduate students who are wanting to present, we could see if they'd be able to present there to like essentially their peers, and it's, you know, a walk around and tell people about the posters. And I know that Arkansas Academy of Sciences is also having their symposium, I guess is the best word, in Pine Bluff this year, March 31st. So that one's very
That would be
close.
pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty quickly.
Just one admin note, if
Yeah.
it's going to be a presentation to the board, that's official business, it has to be recorded and it
Yeah.
likely need to be through one of the city's rooms, so I would.
That's why I was mentioning might be the city council.
But they're
Anytime,
interested, we start.
anytime we're doing official business, which if you're getting a presentation, that's informational, but it's still official business of the board, it would need to be through the official recorded measures, that way we'd have that available for FOIA requirements.
I'm presuming there's a way for us to be able to see the schedule of available times and rooms and such.
Yes, we can coordinate that through my staff. I just need to verify that we can use the larger room, and if you can give me a date pegged down, then I can determine what room's available.
Okay.
It might be a little down the road.
We'll
I've gotta
see
figure out-
how soon we can get it
Yeah, I'll
made.
I'll stay on top of it.
Yeah.
Dr. Phil.
By then my new will wear off, so.
And do you have any concerns about this or us partnering with them as far as
Since it's a university, that's something that I would probably talk with Felicia about. It's not a private for-profit business, so
Correct.
The funding strategy is a little bit different when if it were a private for-profit and you were providing them funding for a product, then that would be something I would be concerned about. I'm a little bit less concerned since it's the University of Arkansas.
And they're not charging.
If they're not charging, then that's fantastic.
$0?
Yeah, this
So-
Beauty of
It-
undergraduate work.
it's already, in his words, he said it's already been paid for through taxpayer funding. So,
We love free.
right, sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
If there's anything that would need to go through, if it sounds like something you need clarification on, reach out to my office and I can, or Felicia is also available. It sounds like you've had communications with her office, but you can always reach me too. And I can verify if there's any need for a resolution from city council for any sort of support for any type of activity that we do.
Okay, all right, good deal. Anything else on that? Thank y'all for finding that. This is really cool.
Yeah, thanks for,
Tool would be helpful.
I had not seen it, but it's cool that you found that.
Okay. And the only other thing, actually, I don't think I have another thing, other than follow-up meetings for committee meetings. Shani, if you'll just work on the April marketing stuff for us, and then Skylar, maybe you and Natalie, would you mind partner with Natalie for some of the spring tree giveaway
No,
information?
I think making some deals, because I mean, I'll be honest, I don't know a whole lot about trees, so I'm like the perfect candidate of like, all right, what would, like, all the list of the trees that we're giving away, I know some of the names, but I have no idea what they look like, no. So I already have it written down on my notes to try to make some little deals of like, okay, if we're giving away 100 of whatever, okay, what does that look like when it's full grown? Like, is that gonna be a tree that you're gonna want in your yard? So I'm gonna try to find some pictures of those and then make those as, okay, we have this many trees and stuff like that. And that way you'll be able to look at it from a more dumber viewpoint,
Yeah.
or maybe
From
uneducated.
the average
there you go,
citizen's
yes.
viewpoint.
Of like,
that's where
okay,
we
what does
all
that look?
are.
I know what the
Yeah.
Bradford pears are. That's just
Yeah.
I don't want
because
those.
everyone knows what those are. But I mean, otherwise, like when I
You'd
look
be
at that
surprised
whole
how many
list,
people
I'm
call
just
them
like,
dogwoods. They'll tell me
Right.
the dogwoods are blooming, I'm like,
no. Dogwoods, I know the dogwoods go down. I'm from North Carolina, that's our tree. So I at least know, I know the difference there. But like I said, when I look at like the whole list of all the trees that we're giving away, I don't know any of them. Or at least not, I couldn't point those out in a crowd, so.
And luckily, so Krista has done the work on, are these appropriate for residential planting, some for
Right.
wetter
Yeah, so we've got some that are
properties and
better
others, so-
for wet locations and some better for dry locations.
And to that point, for those of us that are volunteering, she's kind of promised that we'll have a little bit of a cheat sheet that day. Should someone be asking us
We're gonna
questions
have,
about which
we're
trees?
gonna have, just like you're talking about, kind of
Yeah.
a description of each, like just at the table.
Yeah.
If you have those, feel free to send them to me. They don't have to be nothing super wordy or nothing, but that way, the simpler, the better, as far as the whole.
I'm probably just gonna go to Arbor Day Foundation. They have kind of a tree, the Arbor Day tree guide, I think they call it, and they.
It just has all that kind of information on there. So that'd be great.
Would that have pictures of what they look like when they grow, when they're mature too, or?
Yeah, and
I think that would
really,
be something
so
people
the
would
Arbor Day
see.
Foundation has a nice one just for trees, but really the best is the Missouri Botanical Garden Plant Finder website. That is an amazing tool. It does all plants and not just trees, and you can filter with, like, are you looking for something for dry soil? Are you looking for something for full sun? Are you looking for something that's 4 feet tall? Like, so it's really an
That's
amazing
nice.
tool. And it's a botanical garden that has it, so that's very different.
That'd be good to help everybody make more informed decisions on what they get.
Well, that way, I mean, like, if you're a homeowner and you're like, well, I want a tree in my yard, like, I don't know what
do I
kind of tree I
choose?
want.
Yeah,
You know, everyone just assumes, like, you know, you either don't want a huge oak tree, it's just gonna have roots everywhere and mess up your foundation. But I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of other options there that are more suitable, especially for a lot of these newer neighborhoods that are getting built. You know, a lot of them have been clear cut and there's just nothing there. So it's like, what do you put there?
right. And just so everyone knows, Arkansas Arbor Day is March 20th, and so that's part of the reason that we're doing the tree giveaway on the 17th. That's like our state Arbor Day celebration. Are we gonna try to do Earth Day yoga?
So that was gonna say, the only other thing we really need to talk about is, do we want to do do we want to do yoga? We talked about doing a yoga summer series, doing May, June, July, we had talked about. And we thought we could have maybe an Earth Day event at one of the parks, but that's not gonna work out, so yoga would be something easy.
So
To get us outside.
we've done it what, 2 or 3 times? It's
Mhm.
yoga under the trees.
Mhm.
So it's just an
Yeah.
outdoor yoga thing, and we've only done it at Laurel Park,
Mhm.
but we talked about moving it around, like if we did like 3, go into some different parks, and it's
Just one time a month in one location. It's super easy to do, but it's good. We've had good response from everyone who's come out to do it our one time a year. It's like, when is this again? We're like,
We've got-
next year.
and we've gotten lucky
We'll
with the
see ya.
weather when we've done it, because you never know.
Yeah. So,
I would need the next year to heal.
It's actually super beginner friendly, like
Yeah.
all ages, all abilities. Yeah.
lower level, no one's looking, just mats, towels, or whatever. So, so I think
There's a
Earth
baby
Day-
that couldn't even walk doing it last year. I got pictures.
Did it walk before it started?
Good work.
That's funny. So we can look to do one around Earth Day if you want to
Well,
do
Earth
that.
Day
I
is
know.
just what we've done in the past. Earth Day falls on a Saturday this year, which
Mhm.
could be good or it could be bad, I don't know.
Mhm. Well, I think we've even done it that Friday or Thursday before, because I was looking at, and I want to be mindful of time, it's 5:37, so we'll talk about this for a little bit. But if we did the May event, or the Natural State Tree Climbing Competition is what, May 5th? And
6th
then-
and 7th.
5th, 6th, and 7th. So then Earth Day, if we back up, is the 22nd. So that's just 2 weeks before, and we could either do it on that Saturday, which that's typically a busy day for activities. We could even do it on a Thursday or Friday.
Yeah. Do it just close to Earth Day and call it our Earth Day.
Yeah. Because I think we did it on, we wound
Celebration.
up doing it on the Friday before, the Thursday before, and we just do it in the evening after work, just right in the park. Does that sound like something y'all might want to do? Not everyone has to go and do yoga. There's my disclaimer, just letting you know. It's something we would like to support. You don't
We
physically
hire
have to
a
do it.
yoga instructor, so
We
none of
do.
us are like.
You don't have to lead it. Yeah.
I think it's a great way to engage the community.
Well, that's exactly what I was
Just
gonna
softer.
say, is trying to get, like the first meeting I was at, we were talking about, like, people don't know that there's a tree board.
Mhm.
So the more we can do it, like, the better. And then, like, y'all talking about some posts and stuff, like, I kind of meant, like, you y'all were talking about posts, and I've like made a list of posts, like just to kind of like I manage a couple pages, so like I could even like help share those things as they're coming. Because there's not a lot of activity on there, like especially like our Instagram. So who would I send those ideas to post? Is that you and Natalie, or
Am I the only one that has that?
What?
Me and Natalie?
You and
like
Natalie,
social media?
you should also,
Okay,
so
I
all the
didn't know if I
passwords are in
should.
our
Okay,
Google
okay.
Drive and it's shared. I think the Facebook email, we're still having to figure that out.
Still working on that.
Yeah. But I would like for us to get like a schedule. So if you have a schedule of something you would like or
Yeah.
ideas,
Yeah.
we definitely can share
Understand
that.
the ideas.
And typically the Community Action Committee will meet, we meet via Zoom probably more than any of the other committees, just especially around an event. So I would like to set a time to have another follow-up meeting. Probably won't by Spring Tree giveaway, if you could just start working on anything immediately for that. And then the Natural State Tree Climbing Championship, we need to start thinking about that cadence, and then also April to get through the new tree board acknowledgements or introductions. In Canva, there is a collaborating, but if we're not comfortable with that, we can just do email and Zoom or whatever. I'm stammering. I would love to set a date, but I'm waiting to hear back from the Urban Forestry Council. I'd like to talk to them first so I'll have more information to share with you guys. But anything in the interim, you guys, y'all can email me, call me, text me at any time. That was something, if it's acute or like a on the moment, text works really well. Otherwise, email collaboration, and just include anyone who's on the Community Action Committee, just so we're all in the know, right? So if we want to start that way, maybe if you've got some ideas, don't hang on to them, send them.
Well, that's like good, and I don't even mind like hopping on there and just kind of like making something and be like, hey, yes or no.
Absolutely.
Do you like this?
Yes.
What description should I put in this?
Yeah,
But just
absolutely.
like, I mean, especially like the young people, like Instagram, that is, and it can immediately share from Instagram to Facebook if we have it. Yeah. So I mean, it people want to know about it.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely. And then for our legitimate events too, even Bobby, the city will cross-post and share for us too. So yeah, until we're comfortable with kind of the verbiage and the look, discussions, I would just say send it our way first and then, but bring it on. I'm ready whenever y'all are ready. Yeah, okay. All right. Anything else we need to discuss?
Was there confirmation on, was it a Tree City Growth Award or something like that?
We did get it. Yep,
Yes.
we got it. We don't have our, what they call recognition materials, which are like stickers that go on the signs. We don't have that yet, but I think they're in Greenbrier. I think they're in the state. And so we just need to get them from the state coordinator.
Is that something that we can put signage up around the city to say, to kind of bring some awareness and personal pride to the community for?
Well, we have 3, which one of them is not up. We never got that done.
I was gonna ask if it was ever finalized. We got new Tree City USA signs and
Is it 1 or 2?
we got
We have
2 new
additional
ones and we have
ones.
one existing.
Oh, okay.
And Kyle was to put I'm not sure where we are with that.
So we have 3 like road signs that say Tree City USA, and then you get a sticker of how many years you've been. So every year you get a new sticker, and then there's another place where you can, when you get a growth award, you can add that sticker.
To your point, how do we let more people know that we're here and the actions that we're doing? And I think, there are certain.
The city wants to do publicity on us getting.
that would be
the
really
recognition.
cool.
I mean, they were trying to do
Something
it
post.
like in January, and I was like, they haven't actually
Did that-
said
okay.
we are.
I was gonna ask, because we can
Yeah.
either pull them in and then there'll be things that we can do, but,
Are y'all working with Bobby on that?
okay, I was.
Well, I mean, we haven't really let him know that it is official now.
So it'd be kind of neat to
He
tell
reached
folks
out
how
to
we
us in
achieve
January. I
that,
was like, hey, can I post this? And I'm like, no, it's not official yet.
Yeah. So stay tuned on that.
Yeah, because
right?
applying and being approved are 2 different
And do you know why we achieved the growth award? Do they tell us why? You know, there's a list of all these reasons of why you can win
Well, I
the
had to
growth
put
award.
the
Did they?
things in there, so
Yeah.
it was lots of little activities. It was lots of little 2-point activities because
Yeah.
you needed like a total of 10 points. And you can get like 10 points for doing like one big thing, or you can get like 1 or 2 points for doing little things. And we were able to add up all the little things.
Good, okay. And then that'll be something we can talk about, kind of how we achieve that and what some of our goals are too.
I'd have to go back into the application.
I know, I was
and
gonna say,
look
'cause we
at
did
what
our year-end report, but it's been a while since we've done the year-end report.
Yeah.
Of all of our information, so.
And if you wanted to send me an email whenever we have that information together, just to verify that we have received that, then I can also see if we can get some sort of recognition on the city council agenda. I don't know if that would just be through an announcement,
That'd be great. Yeah.
but just to notify the city council that we've had that.
Yeah.
That would be good.
And then too, so I said Kyle, but have the signs made it actually to
No, they're
City
still
Hall
in
yet?
my
They're still,
office.
so I'll have to go back to emails, but there were conversations about the street signs and an agreement to get those put out, and we had decided on locations, but I guess it's not been finalized, so maybe we can kind of share that with you to
We'll
pick that
probably
up,
get
not as a
with-
priority, but something to get on your list of.
Yeah,
things
if you
to
can get that to me, then we can
Yeah.
get with Kurt and see if there's available locations where you guys have already chosen, so.
Yeah, yeah, because I think we were working through them, but I'd have to go back and look at,
If it's gonna be by the street, then he just has to verify that that it meets the separation requirement from the back of the curb to
Yeah.
where the sign would be, stuff like that.
Okay.
Make sure it's affixed to the proper mounting.
Well, and I think the physical plant said that,
And
wasn't
they
a
had-
physical plant said they'd put them up.
yeah, I can't remember who they were going through, but we'd kind of gotten all the approval
Sounds great.
stuff done, it just hasn't been finalized, I believe, so, okay, but we will send that your way. Okay, anything else, you guys, that I did not get?
As far as the tree board's concerned with Oak Street Ahead project,
Yes, sorry.
people really want trees. They really want trees all along that street, but it's a federal highway, US 64. And according to RDOT, the regulations, we can't put trees definitely down the middle of the street. I'm not sure about the size, but wherever the city can put trees, the presentations was like, yes, we will. We plan to put trees
Excuse me.
wherever we can. Now it's up to the city to actually approve that or not. But one of the really interesting ideas I saw in the presentation that I liked was rerouting 64 west, so Oak Street west of the interstate. 64 would go up I-40 instead and come out where 64 continues out to the Old Morton Highway, which would give the city control over that part of Oak Street, which we could go plant trees there. But that depends on what the city decides, whether they decide to go with what part of the draft proposals and all that stuff. But yeah, people really want trees.
There may be some funding reasons that they want to keep Oak Street as a
Yeah.
federal.
Yeah, I mean, it's again, that's one of the interesting proposals I saw that I was like, that would be really cool if we did that, but
Yeah.
it's up to the city.
So Oak Street Ahead, so what happens now with Oak Street Ahead? What's the next step, or the Oak Street development, is that all finalized, or is it?
Not at this time. Right now, it's sitting on my desk, so it
Yeah.
will.
Go watch the open house presentation on YouTube. There's the presentation of the city council on YouTube, and then they have the 55-page PDF document, which is really interesting if you're interested in that kind of stuff, which I am. But
Could you
So
put that document on the tree board?
it's on the City of Conway website, but I can upload that to the tree board Google Drive. Yeah.
The process at this point is I draft a resolution that goes to the mayor's office just for a final check. I've already drafted the resolution. It goes to the planning commission on the 13th. They're not going to review the whole thing like we've been receiving the full presentation. We received the full presentation with the planning commission and again with the they said it was a joint session. It was just the committee of city council with the planning commission was actually in the audience and they viewed it again. The next step is to take it to the planning commission with a recommendation from staff to forward to city council with a recommendation of approval.
Okay.
So then it'll go to city council. Then if they adopt the resolution at that point, then we'll move into implementation.
How strict is the no trees on federal highway rule, as in are woody shrubs not trees?
So RDOT is pretty much,
Anything green is no.
if it's much more than grass, they're not really.
They're gonna
wanting to
just
go
mow
That's
it.
fair.
They'll
Yeah.
mow over everything.
That's why we can't put trees down Dave Ward Drive, which would be fantastic, but it's Highway 60. It's RDOT controlled, so no trees. Because I asked about that before once. It's
And
like,
they
that's how
maintain, they
I heard
maintain
about
it
that.
also.
With Kyle not being here, how are we doing attendance? I have that wrote down who's all here, but
So we're all here, yay.
yes.
Maybe
There
we
is
just
a place in
send it
Google
to
Drive.
somebody?
So, and there is a Excel sheet that he started in the Google Drive under our
Okay.
meeting docs, and we've been keeping track of who all is here and who's not, just so we can have that 12 months rolling.
That's in the drive.
Yes. But we're all in good standing and stay that way, because we're all here today, so yay. And next month, we'll talk about meetings, so we did find out there'll be a reprieve and help with some of the attendance requirements, especially as we get closer to summer holidays, things like that, so you'll stay tuned.
In addition, attendance should also be marked in your minutes that get approved.
Yes, always, yes, we do have them there for sure. I'm just making a note to talk about meeting cadence and schedules. We'll talk about that next month for sure.
I did have one minor announcement. I don't know if it impacts this board, but unless it specifically states in your bylaws that the chair does not vote, the chair is a voting member and is not allowed to just vote for breaking ties. That's primarily for our regulatory committees and commissions, but it would apply to all of our advisory committees, boards, committees, and commissions. The chair or the vice chair, if they're acting as chair, they are required to vote, not just to break ties.
Thank you.
That's the
Good,
way
because that's
we've-
what we've been doing.
Yeah,
It's refreshing to hear it now. Just kidding. Yes, thank you for that. Yeah, awesome. All right, guys, well, thank you so much. Our next meeting will be April 3rd, barring there's no holiday or anything, so April 3rd. We'll see you back, and then I'll stay tuned. As soon as I hear back from Forestry Council, we'll set a meeting for meeting action. Thank you for taking time, coming today. Nice to meet you.
Do you do a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you. Yes. Always the favorite.